Every night, when you turn off the light and lie down, there is a very small moment that almost no one notices. That moment is not loud, no light, no clear sign, and yet, it is exactly then that a part of you begins to leave. Your body remains still on the bed. Your breathing evens out. Your heartbeat slows. Everything looks like rest. But the truth is, you are not just resting. You are stepping out of this familiar world, the same way you have every night since the day you were born. Like a sailor so used to the sea that he no longer remembers how many times he has sailed. The boat leaves the harbor at night. By morning, it returns to shore, and the sailor remembers only the exhaustion, not the journey. You are the same. You wake up each morning thinking you slept, but in reality, you went somewhere. You may have felt this before, a dream that felt intensely real, an encounter that made your heart vibrate, a place that felt strangely familiar, as if you had been there long ago. Then you wake up, everything dissolves like mist, and you step into a new day carrying a feeling you can't quite name, as if you left something important behind. Not because you are bad at remembering, but because the world you visit each night does not operate by the daytime laws of memory and forgetting. In that world, there is no clock, no calendar, no social roles, no titles. There is only experience. And the strange thing is this: even when you don't remember the details, your body and emotions do. Some mornings you wake up lighter, as if a weight has been lifted. Other mornings you wake up heavier, as if you've traveled a very long road. Not because you slept more or less, but because your soul has been working. For a very long time, humans have been taught that sleep is just a shutdown, a blank space between 2 days of living, an interruption. But if you look closely, that doesn't hold up. If sleep were only rest, why is it that? Do emotions get processed while you sleep? Memories reorganize themselves while you sleep? Old psychological wounds sometimes soften after a deep night? Sleep is not an empty space. It is the other half of conscious life, like the moon, which doesn't shine during the day, yet it doesn't disappear. It simply moves to a different position in the sky. You are the same. During the day, you are the one who lives, works, pushes, and holds everything together. At night, you are the soul withdrawing from form, returning to a deeper layer. And there is one truth very few people say directly: you are not tired because you live too much. You are tired because you don't remember where you go each night. When a journey repeats without being recognized, it becomes draining. When a deep experience is never named, it becomes heavy, like someone working in the dark, unseen, unacknowledged, never truly resting. Throughout your life, your soul quietly travels, learning, processing, healing, and then returns. But your daytime awareness doesn't keep up. That's why there are sorrows with no clear source, fatigue you can't explain, deep longings you don't know how to name, not because you are weak, but because a part of your life is being forgotten, and the journey we are about to take together is not meant to teach you something new. It is meant to help you to remember that every night you do not disappear, you simply return to somewhere else. In the next part, we will go deeper into what actually happens to your consciousness when you fall asleep, and why your body must pass through very specific layers before the soul can truly leave the harbor. Part 2. The layers of consciousness, the path the soul travels before departure. The soul does not leave suddenly. It doesn't switch off and jump out of the body like a light being flipped. Before you can go far, you must go down. Sleep is a slow, orderly descent, like entering a temple deep underground. No one lets you walk straight into the inner sanctum. You must pass through each gate, and each gate asks you to leave something behind. The first thing you release is surface-level alertness. A few minutes after you close your eyes, the mind begins to drift. Thoughts are still there, but they lose their sharp edges. Outside sounds are still heard, but from farther away. You are not fully asleep, yet no longer fully awake. This is the transition layer, where daytime consciousness and nighttime consciousness touch. Like standing at the threshold of your home, Not outside, not fully inside. At this layer, you are easily pulled back. Someone is calling your name. A small sound, a thought you haven't finished letting go of. Many people stop here every night and believe they have fallen asleep, but the soul hasn't. The next gate opens when the body begins to unmoor itself. Body temperature drops, the heartbeat slows, muscles release in a way you rarely allow during the day. The body now understands something clearly. It is no longer time to defend. The brain begins to emit strange, steady rhythms with sudden spikes, like internal signals, not meant for the outside world, but for itself. You spend a lot of time at this layer, sometimes half the night, but very few people know it, because there are no clear images here, no story to remember, only a deeper letting go, like sinking into warm water. At first, you feel it, then you simply dissolve, and then the deepest gate opens. This is where the outside world is turned down to nearly zero volume. The body becomes very heavy, not heavy from exhaustion, heavy because it is being held completely still. If someone tries to wake you here, they will struggle, not because you can't hear, but because the body is prioritizing something else. At this layer, life turns inward to repair itself. Worn-out cells are replaced, hidden damage is quietly patched, toxins accumulated in the brain are washed away. Like a city falling into the night, when road repair crews appear, working silently, without lights, without applause. The problem is this: many people never go deep enough to reach this layer. They sleep, but they don't truly descend. They lie still, but the mind keeps hovering. They wake in the night, grab their phone, and pull themselves back up, like someone who turns back halfway down a staircase because they're afraid of the dark. And when this deep layer isn't reached often enough, everything above it begins to unravel. The body feels tired for no clear reason. The mind feels dull even without heavy effort. Emotions overflow easily, collapse easily, and lose balance easily. Not because something is wrong with you, but because the self-repair process has been interrupted. Only when you descend deep enough is the soul allowed to continue its journey. These layers don't exist to challenge you. They exist to prepare you. Like diving into the ocean. If your body isn't adapted to the pressure, you can't go deep. If you don't pause at certain depths, you get injured. Sleep works the same way. Each layer is a step of adaptation. Each step is a letting go. And only when you let go enough can the soul leave the harbor safely. In the next part, we will enter the most pivotal moment of the entire journey, when the body becomes completely still, but consciousness suddenly brightens, where real dreams begin, and where many people have touched something profound, only to wake up with no idea where they had just been. Part 3. When the body stops, consciousness begins to wake. There is a moment in the night that, if you could see yourself from the outside, would startle you. Your body lies there, completely motionless. Not the loose stillness of deep rest, but absolute stillness. Your hands don't move, your legs don't react. Your breathing remains steady, but very deep. If someone called your name at this moment, you wouldn't turn your head. If there were a loud sound, you wouldn't flinch. And yet, something strange is happening. Inside you, everything is just beginning. This is the moment when consciousness enters a completely different state, not like daytime thinking, not like the hazy drifting at the start of sleep. This is when the brain lights up, like a city turning on its lights after midnight. Areas of the brain tied to imagery, memory, and emotion activate all at once. Electrical signals surge, dense, powerful, organized. At the same time, the body is locked, not because you're weak, not because you're trapped, but because the body is doing something very intelligent. It holds you still. Think of it this way: if, while dreaming that you were running, your physical body also ran, every night would end in disaster. If you were fighting in a dream, and your real muscles acted it out, you wouldn't be safe. So the body chooses stillness, so consciousness can be free. This is the strangest intersection of human life. The body anchored, while experience opens wide. Like boarding a night train, the train moves, the scenery changes, but the station you left remains behind. In this state, what you experience is no longer vague. Colors feel sharper, sounds have depth, emotions are stronger than in waking life. A meeting in a dream can make your heart race. A fear in a dream can leave you drenched in sweat. An embrace in a dream can linger through the entire next day, not because you have a vivid imagination, but because your brain is experiencing it as real. To the brain, there is no clear boundary between seeing while awake and seeing while dreaming. The same regions activate with the same intensity. That's why what you experience in this state is not less real than daytime life. It simply happens on a different layer. Some people have touched a very particular moment here, a sensation of waking up while still dreaming, knowing you are in a world that isn't daytime reality, but also not unconscious. That moment feels both unfamiliar and deeply familiar, as if you're remembering something ancient, something buried, something without a name. And it is also here that many people first encounter fear, a crushing weight, an inability to move, wanting to scream, but no sound comes out. They call it sleep paralysis, peace, but in truth, it is simply consciousness waking before the body has been allowed to return, like waking up in a dark room before the lights have turned on. If you panic, the sensation intensifies. If you understand where you are, it softens quickly. This reveals something crucial. When consciousness awakens on a deeper level, emotions are amplified. And if you don't understand this, you may become afraid of the very door that is opening. Yet that same door is where real dreaming begins. Not scattered images, not fragmented stories, but structured experiences, with characters, with space, with emotional continuity, like entering another city, not to stay forever, but to pass through, learn, and return. In the next part, we will face a much larger question. Who is guiding these experiences? Why do you accept illogical things in dreams without doubt? And what happens when the guardian of reason temporarily steps aside? Part 4. When the gatekeeper of reason steps away, there is something very strange that you may never have stopped to examine closely. In dreams, you never ask the right questions. You can fly through the sky without wondering how it's possible. Talk to someone who left your life long ago without fear. Stand in two places at once and find it completely normal. If these things happen during the day, you would immediately question them. You would analyze. You would argue back. You would say, "This doesn't make sense." But in dreams, you accept everything, not because you are naive, but because a very familiar part of you has temporarily stepped aside. The part that always questions, the part that controls, the part that insists everything must make sense. When you fall into deep sleep, that part quiets down. It doesn't disappear. It simply moves out of the way, like a gatekeeper finally ending a long shift. The gate isn't broken, it's just opened. And when that gate opens, deeper layers of you begin to speak. Memories no longer follow linear time. Emotions no longer need justification. Images no longer require logic to exist. An old fear may appear as a pursuer. A suppressed longing may become flight. An unspoken pain may turn into a dark room where you lose your way. Dreams do not speak in words. They speak in symbols, like standing before an abstract painting. You don't understand it with your mind. You feel it with your whole being. In this state, your brain no longer works like an accountant. It works like an artist. It connects what daytime life keeps separate. It gathers scattered fragments of lived experience into an image that carries emotional meaning. That's why you sometimes wake up with a very clear feeling, yet no idea how to explain it. You just know something was touched, something was released, or something was remembered. Like listening to instrumental music. You can't describe the melody in words, but the feeling remains intact. This is also why dreams can reach deeper than advice ever could. No one in a dream tells you, "You're avoiding this emotion. You need to face that." Instead, the dream lets you live it. You run, you freeze, you're afraid, you're held, you're lost. You find a way out, all without a single explanation. And that is the deepest form of healing, not through analysis, but through direct experience. When reason steps back, the soul finally has space to reorganize what has been compressed for too long. Many people fear dreams because they think they are chaotic, but chaos is only the surface. Beneath it is a very specific order, the order of emotion, memory, and unlived truth. And when you begin to understand this, you stop seeing dreams as meaningless. You begin to see them as a silent therapy room where there is no therapist, but a brilliant part of you is working without pause. In the next part, we will move into an even deeper layer. What happens when dream symbols are no longer purely personal, but repeat across millions of people around the world, and why certain images appear in your dreams, even though you've never learned them, never encountered them in your waking life? Part 5. Dreams that don't belong only to you. There is a very quiet question that, once you notice it, makes you stop. Why is it that some of your dreams are the same as the dreams of people you have never met? You dream of being chased. Someone on the other side of the planet has dreamed the same thing. You dream of falling from a great height. A child in a completely different culture has felt that exact sensation. You dream of rising water, struggling to breathe. A person who has never heard of you, never lived your life, still sees the same image. Not once, not by accident, but again and again, across generations. Carl Jung looked at this phenomenon and said, "Dreams do not only descend into the personal, they move into a deeper layer where we all meet." He called this place the collective unconscious, not your personal memory, but humanity's shared memory. Like an ocean, each person is a wave. The waves have their own shapes, their own timing, but the water comes from the same source. Dreaming is the moment the wave realizes it is touching the water. That's why in dreams, you can encounter symbols you were never taught in waking life, images you don't know how to name, and yet, when you wake up, they feel strangely familiar. A snake, a door, a long hallway with no exit, a river flowing backward. You don't know why they appear, but you feel what they mean. Like hearing a song in a language you don't understand, yet feeling your heart respond in exactly the right place. Because symbols don't need translation. They speak directly to the deepest part of you. And when you dream, you're not just processing yesterday, you're touching the human story. The fear of being chased is not only your fear, it is the survival memory of countless generations fleeing danger. Dreams of flying are not just personal wishes, they are memories of freedom, of release from physical limits. Dreams of falling are not only present anxiety, they are the fear of losing control that has followed humanity since the moment we learned to stand upright. When you understand this, something shifts. You stop blaming yourself for irrational fears. You stop thinking something is wrong with you because of strange dreams. You realize you are not broken. You are touching the deeper layers of being human. Dreams are no longer something to push away. They become a gentle reminder. What are you feeling? Humans have felt before, and this is exactly why dreams carry a unique kind of healing. They don't comfort you with logic. They don't tell you, "You're fine now." They simply show you, you exist within a current larger than yourself. Like standing deep in a forest, hearing the wind move through the leaves, and suddenly no longer feeling alone. You feel that you belong. At this level of dreaming, something important begins to happen. You stop treating your inner experiences as personal problems to fix. You begin to see them as messages to listen to. And when you listen long enough, a new question emerges deeper, wider. If these symbols don't come only from the individual, then where do they come from? Why do ancient traditions, separated by thousands of years and half the globe, Describe the same place the soul goes during sleep. In the next part, we will step away from modern psychology and move into far older maps, where sleep is not seen as rest, but as a true journey of the soul. Part 6. Ancient maps where sleep is seen as a journey. Long before humans had brain scanners, before laboratories and electrical wave charts, sleep was understood very differently. Not at rest, not as shut down, but as a departure. In ancient Egypt, people didn't go to sleep in the modern sense. They entered sleep as a ritual. Temples were built for the sole purpose of sleeping within them. People would arrive, lie down, and wait for a healing dream, a guiding image, a message from higher layers of life. Dreams, to them, were a channel of communication. Not everyone could hear it, but those who could listened carefully. In another part of the world, high in the Himalayas, Tibetan monks went even further. They believed that during sleep, consciousness passes through intermediate states, not fully belonging to this life, yet not fully departed from it. They called these states bardos, and instead of letting awareness drift, they trained to remain lucid while the body slept, not for entertainment, not out of curiosity, but to learn how not to lose themselves when everything familiar dissolves. For them, sleep was practice for something much greater, for the final moment of a human life. In Europe, another thinker approached sleep with a different language, yet arrived at the same point. Rudolf Steiner said that humans are not made of only a physical body. We exist in multiple layers. During the day, these layers overlap and function as one. But at night, separation begins. The physical body stays behind. It must remain to maintain breathing, heartbeat, and basic life. But a subtler aspect begins to move beyond the limits of form. It doesn't vanish. It shifts. Like taking off a coat before entering a warm room. You don't discard the coat. You simply no longer need to carry it. From this perspective, dreams are not side effects of sleep. They are traces of a journey. What you see, the places you visit, the beings you encounter, are not randomly generated. They are experiences recorded. As consciousness returns to the body, that's why some dreams leave you waking with the feeling, I was somewhere very real, not because the images were vivid, but because the sense of being remains intact. Like returning from a long trip. Even after you're home, you still carry the wind, the rhythm of the road, and a part of you has shifted. What's striking is this. These maps don't appear in just one culture. Ancient Egypt, Tibetan Buddhism, European esoteric traditions, shamanic cultures that never encountered one another. Different words, the same phenomenon. When the body rests, consciousness does not disappear. It moves. And when you look at modern life, a deep paradox emerges. We sleep more than our ancestors, yet we travel less in our sleep. Not because the soul has lost its ability, but because we no longer prepare for the journey. Lights stay on. Screens never go dark. The mind refuses to release. Like stepping onto a boat while gripping the shore. Ancient traditions didn't treat sleep as something automatic. They treated it as a doorway. And any doorway into another world must be crossed with respect. When you begin to see sleep this way, a very different feeling arises. It's no longer, I need to get enough sleep tonight. However, it becomes, where will I go tonight? And here, a new question appears. If consciousness truly moves beyond the limits of the body, is it still bound by space and time the way it is during the day? In the next part, we will touch a territory that leaves both science and spirituality quiet. Dreams carrying information you never learned. Encounters that defy explanation, and the possibility that consciousness can reach beyond the present you've been calling reality. Part 7. When consciousness touches what hasn't happened yet, there are dreams that wake you with a very different feeling. Not fear, not sadness, but confusion. You dream of someone who hasn't been part of your life for a long time. The next morning, that person calls you. You dream of a place you've never been. Months later, you arrive there and your chest tightens. I've been here before. You dream of a crisis, a sense of loss, and then it happens, not identical in detail, but identical in feeling. Moments like these make you wonder, is this really just a coincidence? Science tries to answer with safe concepts. Prediction, the subconscious connects data. Probability, those explanations make sense, but they are not enough. Because there is information in some dreams that you did not have during the day. You didn't encounter it, you didn't hear about it, you didn't logically infer it. It's like a letter placed in your pocket before you even knew you would need it. Some scientists have dared to look directly at this. They've documented precognitive dreams, dreams that came before collective events. Moments when hundreds of people in different places dreamed the same theme before the world shifted. No one rushes to conclusions, but no one can completely dismiss it either. Because the real question is this: if consciousness is only a product of the brain, if it is locked inside the present like a machine, how can it touch what hasn't happened yet? Unless time does not operate the same way across all layers of existence. In dreams, you don't experience time the way you do during the day. There is no clear before and after, no linear flow. One scene can turn into another without reason. A single moment can stretch endlessly. An entire lifetime can fit into a few seconds, like standing in front of a mirror. The reflection doesn't come after you. It exists at the same time. Some ancient traditions say that at deeper levels of consciousness, past, present, and future are not separate the way we think. They overlap, like layers of music playing at once. And when you sleep, when the body no longer holds you inside linear rhythm, consciousness can hear more layers, not to predict the future, not to perform miracles, but to prepare emotions, to prepare for change, to prepare for the turns the soul is about to walk through. Like a bird sensing winter before the snow falls. It doesn't know the date, but it knows it's time to move. Many dreams don't give you concrete information. They give you a state, a heaviness, an inner pull, an unusual stillness. And when the event arrives, you realize, oh, I felt this before. There, data decrees to over one. This is how consciousness works. When it isn't bound by daytime reason, it doesn't speak in sentences. It speaks through inner readiness. This also explains why some people walk through devastating events and don't break, not because they are stronger, but because somewhere, in the nights before, their soul had already gone one step ahead. Seen this way, dreams are no longer strange phenomena to explain. They become a deeply compassionate part of life, a safe space, where you are allowed to become familiar with what's coming before it touches waking reality. And when you understand this, you stop blaming yourself for emotions that feel out of place. You realize there are parts of you that already knew, they just hadn't spoken yet. In the next part, we'll move into a question that is very practical, yet very deep. If dreams and nighttime consciousness matter this much, what happens when humans repeatedly cut themselves off from them? When lack of sleep doesn't just exhaust the body, but leaves the soul without space to work and heal? Part 8. When humans stop going anywhere in their sleep, something very quiet is happening in modern life. It isn't loud. It isn't labeled a crisis, but its effects run deep. People still sleep, but they no longer go anywhere. We go to bed when the body is exhausted, not when the mind is ready to release. Lights stay on. Screens stay bright. Thoughts keep racing. Sleep arrives like a collapse, not a transition, like someone falling to the floor from exhaustion, rather than stepping through a doorway to rest. And when sleep comes in that state, it loses its depth. The body may shut down, but consciousness doesn't have time to withdraw. No time to pass through the preparatory layers. No time to release the anchor. No time to open the gate. The consequences don't appear immediately. They arrive slowly. First comes fatigue you can't explain. Enough hours of sleep, yet constant heaviness. waking up feeling as if you never truly rested. Then memory becomes scattered. Emotions swing. Reactions grow disproportionate to small things, like a house that's still occupied, but no longer cleaned each night. Trash isn't taken out. Broken things aren't repaired. The inner space grows tighter. Eventually, the mind begins to show signs. We label too quickly. Anxiety, low mood, chronic tension, panic without a clear cause. We look for explanations outside. Work, relationships, social pressure. Those factors are real, but a deeper cause is often ignored. The soul no longer has enough space to do its work at night. Deep sleep isn't just biological rest. It's when emotions left unprocessed during the day finally have a safe place to be seen. When that phase is shortened or repeatedly disrupted, emotions don't get digested. They accumulate. They compress. They look for release during the day, when you don't have space to hold them. Like a river blocked for too long, the water doesn't disappear. It waits for a weak point to overflow. Many studies have shown people with chronic sleep deprivation have stronger fear responses, not because they are weak, but because the emotional centers remain stuck in alert mode. There is no night deep enough to let them settle. For people who have lived through trauma, this becomes even clearer. They fear sleep because of dreams, because of flashbacks, because images return. But by avoiding sleep, the brain never gets the chance to move those memories out of alarm mode, like a wound that is never unwrapped, not because it can't heal, but because it's never touched under safe conditions. Seen this way, sleep is no longer optional, something you take when convenient and skip when busy. It becomes a foundational condition for healing. Without sleep that is deep enough, every other effort is temporary patchwork. Meditation doesn't sink in. Therapy doesn't reach far enough. Willpower isn't enough, because there are layers within you that only open when the outside world has gone dark, and when you begin to respect sleep, not just as a biological need, but as a space the soul must return to, things begin to shift quietly. You stop forcing yourself to sleep. You prepare to travel. You prepare by dimming the lights, reducing noise, loosening your grip on the day. Like someone who knows a long journey is coming, who pauses, organizes their belongings, and bows slightly before stepping through the door. In the next part, we'll arrive at a critical turning point. What happens when humans don't just travel unconsciously in sleep, but begin to remember and awaken within that journey? When nighttime consciousness no longer drifts, but begins to recognize itself. Part 9. When you realize you're dreaming, consciousness returns to itself. There is a very rare moment, but once it happens, you never forget it. You are inside a dream. Everything is unfolding as usual. The setting, the people, the emotions, all vivid, all alive. And then suddenly, a spark of awareness turns on. You don't wake up. You don't exit the dream. You simply realize, oh, I'm dreaming. The moment isn't dramatic. No flashing light, no thunder. But inside, something shifts profoundly. Like someone watching a movie and suddenly remembering. This is a theater. The screen is still there. The story continues. But you are no longer completely absorbed. This is consciousness waking within sleep, not awake in the daytime sense, but awake in the sense of knowing where you are, knowing which layer this experience is happening on. And the instant that happens, fear changes shape. You may still encounter frightening images, chases, familiar shadows, but they no longer have the same power, because fear only dominates. When you forget who you are, when you remember, things either dissolve or transform. Some people describe facing their pursuer in a dream and standing still, and the pursuer slows down, then turns into a part of themselves. Others say that when they dare to ask in a dream, "Who are you?" the scenery shifts, the emotional intensity softens, and a real dialogue begins, not with someone outside, but with a deep part of themselves that has never been listened to. This is where many traditions are very clear. Waking up in a dream is not about control, not about flying for fun, not about commanding the dream world. Because when you try to control everything, you simply bring the daytime ego into the dream. And that ego doesn't learn much here. There is another kind of awakening, quieter, deeper. Instead of asking, "What can I do here?" you ask, "What is trying to show itself to me?" In that state, the dream begins to respond. Characters stop behaving like puppets. Space stops feeling random. Situations appear with clear intention. Like when you stop talking and truly listen, only then does a conversation gain depth. And the strange thing is this: what you face in lucid dreams is often what you avoid when awake. Fears you don't dare to name. Grief is buried too deep. Anger held down for too long. But here, you are not overwhelmed. You have just enough distance to see without breaking. Like standing on the riverbank, watching the current flow, instead of being swept away. And when you learn to do this in dreams, something important happens in waking life. You react less. You avoid less. You fear your own emotions less. Not because everything has been resolved, but because you've practiced facing it in a safe space. That's why many people, after their first lucid dreams, wake up feeling very different. Not excited, not euphoric, but steadier, like meeting a part of themselves that had been missing for a long time. No big explanations needed, just the quiet knowing. Oh, I'm still here, too free. Whereator expicie, and right here, a deeper question begins to emerge. If, in dreams, you can remember who you are when everything dissolves, what does that say about you? When facing loss, crisis, and ultimately, death. In the final part, we conclude the entire journey, the deeper meaning of traveling in sleep, why souls choose different kinds of challenges, and what is being prepared on the other side of each night, not to frighten you, but to help you live more fully when you are awake. Part 10. Why the soul chooses this path. Looking back at everything you've moved through in this story, one thing may now feel clearer. Sleep is not an empty gap. Dreams are not games of the mind, and what you experience each night is not random. Every soul enters this life with a very specific structure. No two souls carry the same lessons. No two walk the same path, and no two need the same kind of dream experiences. Some people dream gently, as if being guided through a familiar garden. Others dream heavily, repeating uncomfortable images, intense emotions rising again and again, not because they are less fortunate, but because their souls are carrying different lessons. Like one person going to school for music, another for mathematics, another to learn how to heal. You can't compare your lessons to someone else's, because what you're learning isn't information, it's lived experience. Many ancient traditions believe that before entering this life, the soul already knows what it will move through, not the details, not a rigid script, but the theme, like choosing a book before reading it. You don't know every page, but you know the spirit of the story. And each night, when you sleep, your soul returns to recalibrate, to remind, to prepare for the next chapters. That's why some dreams aren't trying to comfort you. They're trying to make you honest. They take you to places you avoid when awake, emotions you don't want to face. Parts of you are waiting to be acknowledged, not to hurt you, but so you don't have to carry that pain alone. When you understand this, a natural softness appears. You stop blaming yourself for dreaming like that. You stop fearing dreams that aren't pleasant. You begin to ask, in a different tone, "What are you trying to teach me?" And that question itself is already a form of healing. Because the moment you stop resisting experience begins to change how it comes to you. Not always easier, but clearer, like stopping in the fog and finally realizing where you are. In the end, the most important thing is not whether you remember everything that happens in sleep. It's this: do you let what happens there change how you live when you're awake? If after a deep night, you react less. If after a powerful dream, you face things more honestly. If after a dark night, you slow down, soften toward yourself and others, then the soul has done what it needed to do. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to reach some higher state. You only need to be more fully present in the life that's already happening. And maybe that is the deepest reason you fall asleep every night. Not to escape life, but to return to it with more understanding. Tonight, you'll lie down again. Close your eyes. Step through the familiar door. No need to control anything. No need to expect something special. Just one simple thing. Trust that there is a brilliant part of you that knows where it needs to go. And when you allow that journey to unfold with respect and listening, you may slowly realize you were never lost. You were only learning how to remember yourself night after night so you can live more clearly. When morning comes, after everything we've walked through together, you may now see sleep differently, no longer as a gap between 2 days, no longer as a shutdown, but as the other half of conscious life. Each part of this story points to one clear truth. When the body rests, the soul doesn't disappear. It travels, it learns, it repairs what daytime life couldn't reach. Dreams don't come to confuse you. Images don't rise to scare you. Strong emotions don't surface to weaken you. They all exist to remind you that beneath the roles you play, the burdens you carry, the effort you pour into each day, there is a deep part of you quietly guiding the way. And when you stop treating sleep as secondary, when you stop dismissing nighttime experiences as meaningless, you begin to live differently even while awake. Not harder, but softer. Not more controlled, but more self-aware. If you truly want to embody what this series has shared, you don't need to do anything complicated. Just start with small things. Respect your sleep as a space for healing, not leftover time from life. Before sleeping, practice releasing the day instead of dragging it into the night. When you dream, don't rush to judge. Listen to the emotions that remain after waking. And when you're awake, let what you touched in sleep help you live slower, truer, and kinder to yourself. You don't need to remember every dream. You just need to let them do their work. If something in this series touched you, a sentence, an image, or just a quiet feeling, leave a comment below. It doesn't need to be well written, just honest. And if this feels like a place that speaks to what your soul has been needing to hear, follow the channel so we can continue this journey together. These kinds of deep journeys, it is easier to walk when you know you're not walking alone.